Hey, y'all, this is Matt Snyder over at Buncombe County Early College, Middle College. I was asked to just go over Classroomscreen.com and how I'm using it in class. So I'm going to go through some of the things that are on here. If you notice that arrow, it opens up about 19 to 20 widgets. The first thing that I like to do on a daily basis is I like to go ahead and pull up my class rosters. A pretty cool little piece on here is I go to Group Maker and I open up those settings, and what it does is let me choose the class that I'm going to be working with. And then from there, I can choose the number of groups that I'd like. I have 6 tables in my group, so I always go there. And I can create the groups randomly. Nice thing is throughout class and the entirety of that class, I can go ahead and continue to shuffle groups depending on how I want those students moving around the classroom. Nice thing with this is once you've got your groups organized, you can go ahead and minimize that screen to be pretty small, so it gets it out of the way as much as possible. Now, the second thing I do is once I've got those kids in groups, I really like having a timer so that as we're working through those activities, those students can have time or have a certain amount of time for them to work on their investigations and their activities, and they know when that activity is going to stop. And of course, once it stops, I'm going to drill them with questions. We all know how that is. And so what I like to do is I like to focus more on asking them questions based off of their group. So I bring up a die and I go ahead and I start randomly choosing groups. It helps to let whole groups answer rather than those students that are apprehensive or nervous or just not willing to share. It allows for that group to kind of protect and work with those students as a whole. That's a great way to get those students involved. And again, if that die is taking up too much space, you can move that off to the side for later on. Throughout the class, I'm going to do things where I'm going to do my distributive summarizing, my numbered heads. I'm going to do all those different talks we've been doing in our professional development. So as we do that, I go ahead and hide my questions usually so that kids can't get ahead. And I bring up a text box. You can see that right there. That text box is pretty awesome. You can see I've got mine hidden. And what I do is throughout the class, I go ahead and open specific questions for the students to ask as we're going through the lesson or answer as we're going through the lesson. So you can see what steps can you write to simplify rational functions. And then as we go through the class, I'm using the timer, I'm using die, I'm having them communicate to answer these questions that are already prepped for the students as we go through the class. And I leave those up throughout the entire day. Typically just minimize them and hide them so the kids are not aware of those questions before we get to them. One other option that I really enjoy using right now, or is an option for students, is that you can put a quick video on there if you need to. So if I need to put a video on there that I want the students to watch, like a quick math video, I may go ahead and say, find my list. I may have that already ready, play video, and it posts right on the screen for the students to watch if I want them to do that. Now, some of you may be wondering, is this replacing like Google Classroom or Canvas? No, it is not. This is 100% just classroom management to make sure that things are flowing easily throughout class. So you can see over here, I always have an extra tab for what's happening in my Google Classroom and what I want the students to do for that class. Pretty awesome program. I just discovered it just recently, and I'm very much enjoying it. It's worth trying out. And, there's 19, 20 widgets on there. Get on there and experiment. Thanks for watching.